Well, I can't believe the day has finally come. The day I never thought I'd live to see. A day that will live in infamy. I hit 1,000 subscribers. Cheers, guys. Oh, and also it's less culturally impactful, but last week also saw the release of a little known gem of a game called Hollow Knight Silksong. As I compose these early, initial feelings on the game, I'm just under 30 hours in and nearing the game's conclusion, so let me tell you, I have thoughts. Most of them extremely positive, I'm sure you'll be glad to hear. I mean, if you've played the game, I severely doubt that comes as a surprise, because within minutes, I knew I was yet again playing something extremely special. The wonder, beauty, and mystery of the first game were all back and in spades. The thrill of being able to experience a Hollow Knight game again was exhilarating because they're certainly not games you can only play once, but still, repeat playthroughs are different beasts. But that captivating sense of the unknown, the thirst for exploration, and the jaw-dropping, heart-stopping surprises can only be experienced that first time round. Only one game has ever made me feel that way, and it was for one solitary, incomparable playthrough. But I can attest my tally of astonishing Hollow Knight experiences has indeed just been doubled. The art style is stunning, featuring even more detail and variety than its predecessor. The fact all these visuals were made by such a minuscule team of, a maximum of 6 according to the credits, just blows my mind. Which also I suppose justifies the excruciating 7-year development. Crazy that my 2 Game of the Year contenders were made against the odds by relatively tiny underdog developers, though Expedition 33 is still coming out on top for me right now, with Silksong so far in a close second, so if you can't already tell, for me those 7 long years were more than worth the wait. It's more of the brilliant same, yet everything is elevated. For example, NPCs are more engaging now, with the new 2-way conversations providing countless fun and fascinating interchanges as Hornet learns about and connects with this new mysterious kingdom. And that there has got to be my favourite thing about Silksong, being thrown into the vast, dangerous, wondrous world of Pharloom. I'm still not bored of it 30 hours in because each location, each individual room is just designed with so much thought and inventiveness, so it never gets old just running around and seeing bonkers ideas Team Cherry have in store for you. I won't spoil anything, but there is just so many oh shit moments where I'm just consistently engaged and surprised by the onslaught of refreshing and exciting new ideas that you're relentlessly stumbling across. Backtracking has been more engaging so far. In my playthrough, lots has noticeably changed and rearranged throughout the world, making it in tune with the more dynamic NPCs feel so much more alive. Hornet's movement, I'm also really enjoying. I love the speed and fluidity the game has now with its quicker, more agile, expanded moveset. It's very Ori-esque, and bearing in mind those games are 2 of my favourite things humanity has created outside of chocolate and democracy, this is a very good thing. The best quality of the Ori games was undoubtedly their astonishing soundtracks, but Hollow Knight was no slouch in this department either, and Christopher Larkin returns again with godly compositions that range from thrilling, bombastic pieces to instantly hummable themes to the most majestic, melancholic music I've heard since, Hollow Knight. There's something about that dreary, sorrowful tone that's so appealing to me, possibly because I'm miserable and British. My favourite area in Hollow Knight was the City of Tears for that exact reason, and let me tell you, there's plenty more where that came from. With the mood and setting in tow with that music, it's so quietly and subtly emotional without ever blatantly tugging at your heartstrings. Alike to the movement, combat also feels slick, simplistic yet intricate, and familiar yet evolved from the first game. Generally, it feels really good and is a lot of fun, when it's not completely beating my ass, that is. The title of this video is Silksong is so good it hurts, and yeah, I'm not kidding. This game is painfully tough, like proper tough. Now, am I just not very good? Maybe, yes and no, but I'd say I'm down the middle average level skill-wise. I completed the first 3 Pantheons in Hollow Knight, but didn't have the ability or patience for the final 2, if that helps anyone to gauge where I'm at. Because Silksong, even in the early game, did become a slog at times for me. I can't say there was really a single boss in the first game that's given me as much trouble as early game ones here. Enemies are magnitudes more powerful, yet Hornet feels far weaker. Maybe that's on me for not finding enough upgrades and mask shards, but believe me, I really tried. Yet I got through most of the game with only one extra mask, whereas in the first game, I don't remember, but I'd say I finished it with probably 7 or 8, and that's when everything only hits for 1. And that one extra mask I had doesn't really help all that much when half the enemies and all the bosses deal double damage. Even falling into spikes now does 2 masks. It's brutal. The supposed trade-off is that healing now does 3 masks, but if you get hit just twice between heals, or even worse, during a heal, you fucked it. On several occasions, an enemy would hit me into another enemy or a hazard, and suddenly within a split second, I'm 4 masks down. There's so many flying enemies now that stay so effectively out of range of you, yet can still hit you for 2 from distance themselves. And then all the enemies are so much tankier and take so many hits to kill compared to Hallownest's inhabitants. You do get more tools to deal with enemies, yet this is tied to a currency gained from killing enemies, so they can't be abused, which is fine. But I will say the builds you can make, at least thus far, don't feel as flexible or varied as what you could do first time round, which is a bit of a downgrade for me. I get they didn't just want to do the charm system again, but the result is way less freedom and variety in playstyles with these more restrictive, color-coded slots. Maybe that will change as I play more. I'm sure it will in fact, but these are my initial impressions, and that's the situation for me right now. I really don't want this to sound like I got stuck on a boss, got mad, and so whined my way through writing this video, because that's honestly not the case. The general increase in difficulty, I'm not that mad about, and it was obviously very intentional. I don't mind just continuing to grow in skill level after the end of the first game, instead of just doing that learning curve again when it would likely be a breeze for me now. But the jump, or rather the leap, is for me too great here. You're given far less to deal with way more, and in combination with a lot of quite unfair feeling moments, there were times where the frustration got the better of me and I was admittedly not having any fun. Particular moments sadly felt like difficulty for difficulty's sake, not because it's more engaging or enjoyable, but because Team Cherry are crazy sadists. Though maybe they got so good at the game playing it every day during its extra long development, they thought this would be normal. Difficulty in games is a weird one. There have been and will be far more intricate debates about it than this one, but as an initial documenting of my experiences with Silksong, the facts are that for me, and I'll reiterate again, that's in my opinion, I enjoyed the game less because of how overwhelmingly and unfairly challenging it was. Though that wasn't the whole experience, not by a long stretch. Bumping an otherwise 10 out of 10 to a 9 is still a strong endorsement. Contrastingly, in some ways I appreciated the harder difficulty and how it made me adapt my normally more aggressive playstyle to become more cautious. But yeah, damn, this shit was not fair at points, and that's a complaint I never had with the first game. But it has that effect where I'm really struggling with a boss or a challenging section to the extent it feels as though I'm smashing my head against the wall and I'm getting angry and I'm ready to turn it off. And then I finally get past the bit I was stuck on and I go, ooh, what's that over there? That looks fun. And the whole cycle repeats itself again, and I both love and hate it and can't wait for more. You might not agree with me about the difficulty, in which case I raise my glass to you because you must be a very good player, or a worse player with the patience and resilience of a saint, but I'm confident these are going to be pretty common compliments and complaints. I've seen people online giving up on the game completely after getting stuck. If I'm about average ability, does that alienate those who aren't as good from playing this game? But in conclusion, for me, there's just something too magical about it. The difficulty sucks, and it's ruthlessly unforgiving, but it's in its own way so worth it to witness the splendor and brilliance of Silksong. And for a game this good, I'd fight bosses twice as hard just to be able to continue experiencing the one-of-a-kind wonders it so uniquely and confidently has to offer. Thank you so much for watching these very early initial thoughts on Silksong. My opinion will probably change as I play more, but like I said, I wanted to put these frustrations into writing and make a video of how I'm feeling at this moment in time, because I think a player's attitude while actually being in the midst of playing a game is very important, right? So do you agree with my opinions? Do you disagree? Please do let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And while you're at it, you can like and subscribe. You know the drill. I'm going to go back to playing Silksong now, so wish me luck, and I'll see you in a bit.